Eli Turner was 23 years old and practically invisible. A third-year literature student drowning in debt, he worked part-time delivering flowers across the city just to keep himself fed and his rent barely covered. Most days were a blur, roses to anniversary dinners, lilies to funerals, and the occasional apology bouquet from men who had more money than morals. It wasn't glamorous, but it was honest. That rainy Thursday afternoon, Eli's last delivery was to a mansion up on Crest Hill Avenue, a part of town he rarely saw, except on postcards and movie screens. The house looked more like a forgotten museum than a home. Ivy strangled the walls, and the front gate creaked like it hadn't opened in years. He rang the bell, expecting a butler or maybe a nurse. Instead, she answered the door herself. Her name was Margot Langford. 71. Elegant in a way time couldn't erase, though her face carried the weary look of someone who'd outlived everyone she once loved. Her voice was calm, but there was something behind it, a loneliness so profound that it echoed through her silent halls. "I didn't order these," she said, eyes narrowing. "They're from a company," Eli explained. "Promo campaign. Free bouquet if you sign up for reminders." Margot rolled her eyes but invited him in, amused more than annoyed. Eli hesitated. The mansion felt like a place where time had stopped and sadness had taken root in the carpets and chandeliers. But he stepped in, if only to escape the rain. That day turned into 2 hours. They talked, or rather, she did. About her late husband who left her billions but no love. About her daughter who never called. About art, music, and the books gathering dust in her library, and somehow, Eli listened. He came back the next day. Then again. Not for deliveries, just visits. He brought her old books she'd forgotten she owned. They played chess. He fixed a leaky faucet. She laughed at his jokes, and he found himself forgetting the crushing weight of his student loans whenever he was with her. 3 weeks later, Margot said something that would change everything. "Marry me," she said, only half joking. "You'd get a home. I'd get someone to talk to who isn't a nurse paid by the hour." Eli thought she was kidding. She wasn't. "I'm dying," she added, eyes steady. "Maybe a year, maybe 2. Maybe less. When I'm gone, it's all yours. You'd never worry about money again. Just, don't let me die alone." He didn't answer that day, but a week later, standing beside her in a quiet garden with no guests, no fanfare, and only the scent of orchids in the wind, Eli Turner married Margot Langford. People would call him a gold digger. A fraud. A user. Maybe he was. He didn't know, but he did know that when he held her wrinkled hand in his, he felt something strange, a kind of peace he hadn't known since his mother died. For 7 days, they lived in that peace, until the 8th morning, when Eli woke up to find the house silent. Margot was gone, not missing. Not kidnapped. Dead. In her sleep, without warning. But what truly shattered Eli wasn't her death. It was what he found in her study, sealed in an envelope, with his name on it. Eli sat alone in Margot's study. The room smelled like old wood and jasmine. Dust floated in the sunbeams that pushed through the curtains. Her chair, always angled just so by the fireplace, was empty now. Still. Too still. He opened the envelope with trembling fingers. Inside was a handwritten letter, pages long. Her penmanship was elegant, curved and confident. The first line stopped his breath. "Eli, if you're reading this, then I'm gone. And I know you think I left you everything. But I didn't. Not yet." What followed was a story Eli never expected. Margot had once been as poor as he was, a daughter of immigrant parents, selling homemade soap on street corners. She'd worked, fought, sacrificed. Her first husband was abusive. her second kind but cold. The third, the billionaire, had been a marriage of convenience much like hers and Eli's, but without the warmth that she'd built most of her fortune herself, hidden behind his name. But the part that hit Eli hardest was her confession: I didn't need a young man to marry me. I needed someone to remind me what hope looked like. You gave me that, Eli. You reminded me I was still human. You didn't take from me. You gave me more in 3 weeks than I got in 7 decades. Then came the shock: I haven't left you the mansion. Nor the company shares. Not yet. You'll find a key in the back of the drawer. It unlocks a locker at Eastview Storage. Inside, there's a box. In that box, you'll find the real inheritance, but it comes with a condition. Eli found the key. Drove to the storage unit. His hands were shaking as he opened the locker. Inside was a wooden box, carved with flowers and vines. Inside the box, not money, not jewels, letters. Dozens of them, photos of a girl, bank slips, monthly payments to a small home for girls in Kansas. At the bottom, a file labeled Catherine Langford. Margot's daughter, my daughter, Catherine, is alive. But she hates me. And she deserves better. I've left my estate in a trust, split between you and her. But only if you find her. Talk to her. Help her forgive. Help her know who I became, not who I was. Do that, and everything is yours. Fail, and the money goes to charity. I didn't marry you to give you wealth, Eli. I married you because I needed a mirror. You were my mirror. Now be hers. Eli sat there for hours, stunned. The life he thought was about to start, luxury, ease, freedom, was on hold. All that stood in the way: a daughter who hated her mother. A story full of scars and silence, and one young man who had to prove love wasn't about age or money, but about healing what others had given up on.